So I get asked quite often to repeat my story of how I left my corporate job to go full-time with my then side project and passion. So in this video, I quickly want to recount my story and then I'll share 12 lessons from it. And please note that this isn't a you need to quit your job and follow your dreams rant. Those people kind of piss me off. This video is just some advice for anyone who might be in the same boat considering doing the same thing. Basically, it all started for me back in 2004 when I decided that I had to be better with women. So I went out, I started approaching, I started making conversations, I started growing, and within a few years I'd approached thousands of women, I'd had some really cool adventures, but more importantly, I had grown a lot as a person, and people began asking me to take them out and to help them do the same. And soon enough, I just decided that I would offer my services properly. So I started at $100 a night for one-on-one coaching, really more than anything because I'd broken a tooth and I wanted a little bit of extra money to help fix it. So for the next couple of years, I worked a 9-to-5 job. And then I also went out essentially every Friday and Saturday night coaching guys. And a few people mentioned in this time that I should be doing it full time, but I actually didn't really want to. This was just my hobby. I liked going out. I liked doing my own thing. I liked meeting girls. I was just happy doing what I was doing. I didn't want it to be a job per se. I also didn't really know if it was possible. But as time passed, I just struggled with 9-to-5 more and more. I worked with people who loved their job, which is awesome, but me personally, just going to work as the sun was coming up and getting home as it was going down, it just really started to eat me up inside, and I just began to consider more and more the idea of leaving. So I noted down some ideas, but I really kept thinking someday or soon, when I have more money saved, when things are more stable. But that changed one morning when I had two specific thoughts on a tram ride to work. The first was that a homeless guy might actually be happier than I would be that day. So around that time, I'd noticed just this homeless guy chilling in the sun, and he looked at least somewhat content. And I kind of realized in that moment that this person who had literally nothing at least seemed at that moment to be more content and definitely freer than I felt. And here I was being trained as a manager. So this sounds really simple, maybe even a little weird, but it actually had quite a big impact on me. And the second thing was that I live in Melbourne. I was never gonna starve and die in a gutter. I was never gonna struggle to find work here. I just knew that if necessary, I could find another job in days, even if that just meant walking around the city, handing out CVs, which is what I'd actually done when I first arrived in Melbourne. So if I quit and things didn't work out, I knew the worst that could happen would be that I just had to get another job. So that wouldn't be the job that I was in, and maybe not the salary that I was on, but at the end of the day, I'd become quite discontent there anyway. So I could even end up back in hospitality, which I knew would still pay the bills. Crazy birds. I just knew that I would be happier having taken a chance, regardless of the outcome, than I would be staying in the stable place that I was in and forever wondering. And it also dawned on me that there's just never going to be a perfect time. So if I waited 6 months, 12 months, things would likely be the same. So I had a quick think of the money that I had in the bank, which was only a few grand, but I knew that that would get me through the next couple of months. So, bloody hell. So I just decided that I was going to quit my job that morning. And the rush of excitement that I felt, it confirmed for me that I was making the right decision, even if I was a little freaked out. So as soon as I got into the office, I asked my boss if we could chat, and he asked if it could wait till after our meeting. And I said it couldn't because I just knew that it was now or never. I didn't want to give myself time to reconsider. So they were disappointed, understandably. They'd invested time and resources into me. I was offered more money and less hours, but I just knew what I had to do. And then came the planning. So as soon as there is no turning back, you'd be amazed at how efficient you get at organizing. So I just got right to it. And the first thing I did was draw up an exit strategy. So if I had no clients by this date, I'd get a part-time job. If I had no clients by this date, I'd get a full-time job. And if I had one client by this date, that would push out the part-time job till this date. It was just a clear exit strategy. I also wrote out a quick business plan. I updated my website. I posted on a forum that I had a bit of a following on. I also told my old clients. And as always, I just put my mind to it. I visualized it. I ran it through my head every single day. And I started doing something that I still do to this day, and that's to write out a daily to-do list. Then, sure enough, one client booked in, then another. So I was booked for my first month. And that was several years ago now. And it was really the best decision I ever made. Business is great. I still coach essentially every day. I have a waiting list for clients. I've had a lot of media recognition for what I do. Basically, I've just worked my ass off, ironically more than I did in corporate. I've just done everything in the business myself. I've had highs, I've had lows. I've learned so much about business and about myself. So ultimately, I think it was a successful leap from 9 to 5 to personal business. So I don't know where I'll be in another 5 years. I don't know where I'll be in another 1 year. But as always, I'm just happy to let life carry me wherever it will. So here are 12 lessons from my story that might help someone if they're considering doing the same thing. And please note that these are just my personal opinions, so you can agree or disagree. Start out slow and start out small. So something that I hear pretty often is that you need to start out charging highly to set customer expectations. But in my opinion, no. I think the reputation and the experience that you'll gather from doing more for less and from giving people a great service or a great product for fuck all price is worth way more than money, especially at the beginning. People sometimes mention how much my coaching costs these days, which ranges into 4 figures, but at the time of making this video, I'm 7 years in. I worked my ass off at $20 an hour for ages, and it grew from there. You might think that you're worth a certain amount, great, but other people likely don't yet. They might not even know who you are. So just get people in the door, get that reputation, get that experience, build that following, because that's going to be your business foundation for years to come. Start on the side. Again, you're building a business foundation, so don't rush it. I meet a lot of newbies who want to be full-time in their business in a few months. Running a business involves so much stuff coming up that you didn't even imagine. So it's good to have a little stability while you're taking those baby steps and while you are making those inevitable fuck-ups, because you just will. Stay humble. Don't elevate yourself above others. Again, this is something I see when people start out and then they start getting a little bit of success. They might start knocking where other people are at. They might start trying to motivate people to step up and to follow them. And by motivate, I mean mildly insult. Just don't do this. This is a surefire way to have everyone quietly hoping that you fail. And you don't know who loves what. You've not seen the light because you now work for yourself. Many people like working 9 to 5. Many people like working for someone else. And you never know what tomorrow will bring for you. So you don't want to go elevating yourself up today to have life kicking your ass back down tomorrow. There rarely is a perfect time to do anything, be it to approach a girl, to quit a job, to join a course, to start a business. There'll always be something that isn't perfect. So definitely be smart, be strategic, but don't expect all of the ducks up, to align in a row. Ultimately, it's going to be up to you to decide when is good enough, because it's never going to be perfect. Be online. You need a website. You need people to see that website. You need a social media presence. The future of business really is online, and we're really lucky to essentially still be at the start of that. Reputation is everything. This is something that I can't stress enough. So not everyone will like you. That's for sure, and that's fine. So not everyone will understand you. That's fine. But as long as most people out there are generally going, yeah, he's a decent guy, or yeah, she's a genuine girl, that's enough. So how do you go about getting that? Look, just be a decent person, help people out, be kind, be real, network, get to know people. You're still definitely going to have haters, but that says more about them than it does you. It also really helps to obviously be an expert and very experienced in your niche. Don't do something because you think it's cool. Don't just copy someone else. Do something that you personally know through and through. Everyone has something that other people will pay them for. fuck up, just fuck things up. Now, not intentionally, of course, more just learn to be okay when things go wrong, because they will. You have to learn to let go and keep moving forward. Use your mind. Now, I know I'm going to sound like a hippie here, but if you are not tapping into the power of your mind, you're crazy. So every single day you should be running through the things that you want in your head. You should be listing goals, visualizing goals, conditioning yourself for positivity, developing that faith in yourself. Do things yourself. Now, this is a kind of contentious point. A lot of people say that in your business, you should do the part that you're good at and get someone else to do the rest, or other people to do the rest. Personally, I disagree. See, if anything goes wrong in my business, I know exactly what to do. I can have it fixed in hours, if not minutes. And time to just learn everything myself, from invoicing to website to copywriting to event organizing. I understand essentially every part of it. So outsourcing is great. I outsource a lot of things to save time, but there's a huge difference between outsourcing things to save time and outsourcing things because you just don't have a clue about them. Passion is great. Obviously, you've heard it 1,000 times before that you need passion to start a business. Awesome. But I personally think it might be a touch overrated. I just hear people debating all the time if they should or shouldn't do something, if they should or shouldn't start something, because they're just not really sure if that's what they really want. Look, whatever you decide to do, you're going to have days and periods where you fucking hate it. I love coaching. I have an amazing job, but even I have days where I'm just like, so don't spend all this time debating if you're 110% passionate about something or not. If it's just, sorry, it's throwing me off. If it's something that you just generally enjoy, if it's something that you're just generally good at and you're interested in, then that's good enough. Don't get caught up doing small things that don't really matter. I see people starting out in business quite often deliberating for weeks or even months on the smallest things, like a logo or a business plan, arguably. Look, logo, go to Fiverr, get 4 designs in 2 days for 20 bucks, use the best one. Business plan, go home and scribble down in an hour what you can offer people, how much for, how you'll go about it. I just think that these things are secondary in importance to service. And I just think it's important to keep moving forward and just trying to let go of this idea of perfection, something that I still kind of struggle with. Give back. This could be giving to charity, doing some free products, some free service, helping people out. I just believe that on a deep level, if you know that others are benefiting from your success, then you're going to have more success. Look, if I can get paid to go out and to help guys meet women, to improve their lives, to help them become better men, then you can get paid to do anything. So if you're doing something for someone else, could you possibly do it for yourself? Just be prepared to fucking work, be prepared to grind, be prepared to fail, and take each day as it comes. Just don't get complacent. Chip away daily. Do a little more each day. People sometimes say that my job must be a great old fun time, and it is, but the reality is also that behind the scenes, I've worked ridiculously hard. Ultimately, starting a business is just another form of personal development. So don't just see it as a job. See it as a journey to grow you into something bigger, better, stronger. So if you're debating it, I say consider these points and just have a crack. It might work, it might not. If you're watching this, you're very likely of a reasonable economic status that you're not going to starve and die in a gutter. There'll be more videos on this and other personal development topics soon, so if you enjoyed it, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, like it, and please share it with anyone that you think might benefit from it. Thanks.